Hey guys, let me ask you something. Are you stopping? Are you killing your profits? Are you killing all the profits you could be making from your business? If so, it's usually because you got high overhead. And we're going to teach you how to lower your overhead after this. Hi guys, I'm Jae Burnham and this is the Real Jae Burnham Show. So thank you for you guys coming to my show each and every day. Oh, that was bugging me. Had to remove it from my camera. Sorry. All right, guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, you got to go hit the button right there. It's a little red button. Go and hit it. Subscribe to this channel right away. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Let me tell you a little bit about me, about what I've done. You guys know I'm in the movie business. I've been in the business for several years. And last year, not this year, this 2016, I had found myself a warehouse. It was a great warehouse. I had about 6,200 square feet of room. About 1,200 of that was used for my office and staging area. The other was used for storage. The problem with that, though, is that it didn't have enough storage. It was just a big empty place, and I couldn't get enough storage in that to cover the expenses like I was hoping and planning to. There was a lot of reasons I had to have so many things uncovered and accessed, and it just became a problem where I couldn't even use a good third of the space that I needed to use because I couldn't have access to it because the landlord would prevent me from using it. So it ended up not being as profitable as I needed. I moved into this warehouse, and the warehouse was costing me with everything. It was $2,000 just for the rent, but then with all the utilities and everything, I was paying close to $3,000 a month, every month for the warehouse, and that did not include my cable, my internet. It did not include my any of the other things that I needed for my business. So as you can see, I was really overwhelmed. You're talking, $3,000 every month from my payroll, or not my payroll, but my income. Now during the small weak months, that really hurt, and it took a lot of money for me to be able to pay for the things I really needed, like advertising. So what did I have to do? I had to do some soul searching. I could have stayed in this place or could have not, and I chose to move out. And what I did is I lowered my overhead. So I got out of this building. Although it was a great place, it was one of the best places I've ever had. I just couldn't afford it. I just couldn't. And the landlord, he wasn't a jerk, but it is about money, and he is in business to rent the place. So although I still respect him and consider him a friend, it just wasn't working out. So I had to move on. So I found another place, and I'm only paying $1,000 a month during the busy section of my business, and then during the wintertime when it slows down, I get to pay a much reduced price for 2-3 months, saving me a lot of time and a lot of hassle, and a lot of headache. And that's going to work out for me. It's going to work out for my landlord too. He gets the entire month, all what he's asking for. He just gets most of it in the summertime when I'm making the money. And so it lowers my overhead. So although I'm paying $1,000 for the rent, it's going to make up in the wintertime. It's going to average out about $800 a month. Now, I also needed to lower my other costs. So I've been figuring out how to lower my costs. So I lowered my internet down to $40 a month. I lowered my phone bill down to $50 a month. I'm going through Ring Central, which is it's a voice over internet protocol phone company. And it gives me not only a landline, it gives me a fax line, as well as a 1-800 number. So I have a 1-800 number for my business, making my business look that much presentable, and I'm saving myself a lot of money. So between my internet and my phone, I'm paying only about $100 compared to what I was paying with Comcast of almost $230 or $40 a month for my Comcast bundle. All right, so I'm saving money there. I no longer have my car payment. I got rid of my car payment, got that paid off. So now I don't have a car payment. Um, and it's just, you know, the overhead has gone down drastically. What matters is, geez, I can't even talk. What the heck's up? What is that's going to do is going to help me actually save up the money I need for the wintertime so that I have a little bit of cushion there in the wintertime, as well as get me some of those luxury items. I put that in quotes, for my advertising. So now I can start allocating money for my advertising. And this is going to be really, really good, because so now I'm going to be able to really ramp up my advertising, whereas the last year I did. And my sales, you know, because my overhead was so high, my sales actually went down considerably. I literally did about half of what I normally do in a year. Not in 2005, I did $300,000. Last year, I did about $155,000. I went half because my overhead was so high, I couldn't allocate the monies to the proper places. Now, what is overhead? Overhead is basically those fixed expenses, those expenses that you have. I consider overhead any and all expenses. Now, there are different meanings to overhead, and some people are going to say, well, that's overhead, that's not overhead. Anything that's an expense is overhead. Okay, anything. If you got to pay money to something, that's overhead. Okay. However, there are certain things that I just will not budge on cutting though. And the first thing I will not budge on cutting is payroll for my guys. I want to make sure that my payroll is, you know, right at the top of the scale, so that I get the best people possible. All right. Also, you know, you got rent and you got your utilities, and you've got, you know, your phone lines, internet, stuff like that. Those are things that you've got to have to run your business. Everything else you should be finding and getting the best prices of everything and anything. All right. If you can lower the prices on uniforms, cut the cost on uniforms. You know, quality isn't such a high priority in a lot of things. You know, advertising you do, but put the money smartly in a place where you know you're going to get the return on investment. So lowering overhead sometimes isn't about actually spending less, but actually spending it more wisely in advertising. So instead of spending money on, you know, television ads, which is the shotgun approach, stop doing that. Unless you're doing branding, you're going for it's a brand. You're doing that form of advertising as a branding tool. Do not do television advertising. Same thing with radio. It doesn't bring in people. It's a shotgun approach, and most people tune out advertisements. If you go to Hulu, they turn on, you know, they'll pay a little extra so they don't get the commercials. All right, there's a reason for this. Okay, so don't put your money where it's going to hurt. So lowering overhead is cutting the costs wherever you can cut costs. Can you cut costs on who does your printing? Can you cut costs on sending out the mailers? How can you do it? Can you do it in-house and save yourself a little bit of money? You know, getting rid of the luxuries that you don't need in your business. Get rid of them, right? If you don't need, for instance, if you're in a landscaping company and you've got the latest and greatest of lawnmowers, really? You have to have the brand new lawnmower? No, go and buy a used one, okay? You don't have to have the latest and greatest. Go buy a used lawnmower, you know? You got to think frugally. Wherever you can save money, save money. And if you can't save money, figure out where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. In other words, where you're going to get the return on investment. And for me, that's advertising. So I'll spend a little extra on postcards, but that's because I know postcards will bring me 10 or 20 times the amount that I spend on it. So it behooves me to maybe even spend a little bit more on that, where I know I will get the return on investment. Versus if I tried to go and I paid $1,000 for a TV commercial. That TV commercial might run, hypothetically, let's say it runs for 6 months and it runs in the prime time slot. That's not necessarily going to get me any business. So, do it smartly. Now, when you've got the funds, you got the extra funds, go ahead, get those luxury items, get the TV spots, the radio spots, absolutely. But in the meantime, use the money wisely. Use what will return on investment, and wherever you can cut costs, cut costs. All right. And this is why a lot of the workers don't like the big businesses, because their pay gets cut. Well, guess what? Pay is overhead. If they can lower their overhead, they're going to cut those costs. That's why you see a lot of manufacturing companies going overseas, because payroll, labor costs are actually much cheaper over in other seas. They'd rather spend $1 billion in building a big factory in Taiwan or China or Mexico or India, where they can build a car for literally half of what they could do here in the States. It's not because the people in the States have a poor work history or poor work ethic. It's not that. It's that they cost more than they're worth, right? When you're paying people $60 an hour with all the benefits, and I could go over to Mexico and get that same individual and same quality for 10, guess where I'm going to go? All right? I'm not saying take your stuff overseas. What I'm saying is, figure out where you can cut costs. If you produce things, can you ship your manufacturing overseas? Or can you send can you go, if you're doing a food product, send it to a co-packer, and a good quality co-packer, and instead of trying to assemble it in home. Just find where you can do the little research. Watch the Shark Tank, watch the profit, find out where these things are going off. And if you have a lot of junk, get rid of it, sell it or throw it away, because that's eating a lot of your overhead as well. All right? Maybe you need to consolidate spaces. That might be a way to do it, like I did. Maybe you need to figure out a better phone system so that you're not paying as much for your phone system, or figure a way that you can get your internet far cheaper and with higher quality. Maybe you need to buy your own servers so you don't have to keep going to other people's servers to make yourself more secure, because you're paying so much for security services. Maybe you need to bring that in-house, or maybe you need to outsource it. You just need to take every single expense and find out what you could do to save money with that expense. Is it rent? Figure out how you can cut the rent. Maybe you need to renegotiate your lease, or maybe it's time to find a new building, so on and so forth. But you're killing your profits by keeping your overhead high, right? You are killing your profits, and when you kill your profits, you kill your business. Profits is what makes your business. If you're sitting there and you're just at break even, you're actually going down the spectrum, because while everything else is going up, you're staying the same or even going slightly. You're going to go down, and eventually you're going to go bankrupt. So lower your overhead, make money. All right? Stop killing your profits. All right, guys, hopefully this was informative for you. Hopefully it gives you some good ideas and gives you an idea of what you need to go do. So go in, and this is your homework. Your homework is to go get your profit and loss sheet, take everything that's an expense, and then go out and systematically, one by one, see where you can cut the cost of every one of your expenses if you can. All right? And I guarantee you'll make a lot more money, and you'll be a lot happier, and you'll be able to go and do that Cancun vacation you've always wanted. All right, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you share this with all your family and friends. And don't forget, right over here, subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.